You are listening to the Archaeology Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Archaeotech Podcast, episode 42. I'm your host, Chris Webster, with my co-host, Chris Sims. On today's show, we get into the annual holiday episode and talk about gifts for archaeologists. Let's not talk about how this is our first annual holiday episode. We'll just pretend we've been doing this all along. Recording. All right, welcome back to Archaeotech. We're here and we're going to do a crazy holiday episode because we don't want to call it a Christmas episode in case you're buying Hanukkah gifts for someone or Kwanzaa gifts. But how's it going, Chris? It's arriving up there in the blizzards of Pennsylvania.
Yep, checking in from the frozen north. It's 20 degrees Fahrenheit right now, and it's going to drop down to about 0 by the end of the day. Hopefully don't get stuck in a blizzard today like it did yesterday. Yeah, it's good to be back on the show, and yeah, we've got a lot of good ideas for gifts for archaeologists. So you can send, put together your last minute wish list and send this to your family, or give it to your other archaeology buddies.
Yeah, hopefully there's time because this is coming out about like 8 days before Christmas or something like that. However the time frame works out, but with Amazon, it's a good thing, and I think we don't have this on our list specifically, but I think it's a good thing to start this with because I literally just thought of it. This is how much show prep we've done for this, but I would say, and we're not going to get into the political and the other ramifications of this choice, but I would almost say an Amazon Prime account would be a good gift for somebody that travels on the road because. Whether or not you like Amazon or whatever, again, the people are kind of polarized on that, just like they are on Starbucks and other big corporations. However, for people that travel around and live on the road, Amazon Prime is kind of a lifesaver.
Yeah.
Because you get free shipping. It's 2-day shipping. What if you're only in a place for like a week? You can have something shipped 2 days straight to your hotel. And you get free Kindle books. You get unlimited storage, file storage for music if you have that on your Amazon account, and you get you get all kinds of things actually. The biggest thing though is free shipping. I think it's like $100 some odd a year these days.
It pays for itself if you buy 10 things from Amazon a year even. It pays for itself. And I discovered when I was living in New Zealand that you can get cheap international shipping. So there's that too.
Wow, there you go.
That was a nice feature that I discovered while I was there. But yeah, so if you're on the road, even if you remember something that you forgot while you're en route to another place, you can hop on the app on your phone or even on a browser or whatever, wherever you can connect, and it'll be there most likely by the time you get to your destination or stuff like that. A lot of cities now are offering same day delivery for free. When I was in Louisville, Kentucky, they did that, and it was like I could order something around 9 a.m. and it'd be there by 2 p.m. It was crazy.
That's ridiculous. It's so easy too. They've got their it's almost too easy. If you've got a credit card and address ready to go in there that is your standard sort of address and shipping, you can do the one-click purchasing thing and just bam, click it and it charges you and then sends it to you. And it's just it's actually a little bit too easy. I don't know. And they also do gift wrapping too. So if you're buying for somebody else, for a lot of the things that they have, they'll wrap it up and put it in the crazy blue Amazon bag. I remember going to Christmas at my in-laws last year, and they're big Amazon shoppers, and I think all their kids are too. And we had like the Secret Santa thing, so everybody bought for everybody else. But under the tree, it was like blue and yellow Amazon bags. It was like 20 of them. It was just all Amazon bags. It was crazy. Yeah, I loved it. But yeah, I think, I've bought already a number of things. And there's actually companies out there that you can't actually buy their stuff on their website. They've just said, you know what? Amazon solved shipping. Why are we going to try to solve that at the same time? They've already figured it out. Let's just put all our stuff on Amazon, and then they sell as a company through Amazon. And Amazon obviously takes a cut, but they seem okay with it. I think we probably pay for that cut, but I've never noticed, a massive real price difference in things that are sold on Amazon. So I'm not really sure how that kind of works out. But one example I can think of is the Zero Lemon batteries that I like so much, which we don't have on our list, but I'll just kind of throw that in there right now. The Zero Lemon, like USB batteries, they've got one now that has the USB 3 connection on it. And because of that, if you happen to buy a brand new MacBook Pro, which I highly doubt too many people listening to this have gone out and spent $3,000 on a brand new MacBook Pro laptop, but it's got the new USB 3 connection, and that's its only connection. It's per power, it's for all kinds of stuff. So because of that, because it doesn't have a proprietary power connector anymore, Zero Lemon and probably other people have invented this battery pack that you can charge all kinds of USB devices off of, but you can also charge your laptop off of it because it just takes that regular standard connection
Wow.
now. And yeah, so that's pretty sweet. But the moral of this story is Zero Lemon sells all their stuff on Amazon. When you go to their website, you click purchase here, it takes you to Amazon. And then you just buy there and ship it straight to your house. So and it's really great. All their stuff is really good. I love the Zero Lemon batteries I've got. I gave a handful of them out to some of my crew members last year, or I let them have them for the project, and then I just let them keep them at the end, and they're still using them, and they love them. And I use my 30,000 milliamp Zero Lemon battery all the time, so it's really good. But Chris, what are some other things that that people can maybe should almost exclusively get from Amazon just because of the deals and the selection? You think of anything?
Well, I encountered this yesterday as I was trying to stock up on stuff just for myself. I'm gearing up to go and do some field work in Arkansas for a couple weeks, and I realized that I have to either acquire or replace some of my old gear kit. Um, and so I
Mm-hmm.
was in REI, and I was like, "Hey, do you guys have any compasses?" And it was such a funny interaction with the sales associate because they walked me over to this field compass, and it's one of like the flat kind that you can put on a map or
Yeah.
whatever. uh and then they've got these little like things that you can clip onto things like a keychain, and it's just this little like swivelly thing that's basically useless, and you'll probably die in the wilderness if you try and use this thing. But then they've got like the Sunto MC2G compass, which
Mm-hmm.
is an orienteering compass. It's awesome, but it's $100 at REI. And I was like, what? And so the
Yeah.
sales associate sees me pick this thing up and look at it in my hand and kind of like scowl, and they go, "We've got books on how to use compasses if you'd like to buy one." And I go, "Nah, I'm good. I know how to read compasses." And so they start like on this spiel, and it's like, I appreciate it. It's good customer service. So I recognize what they were trying to do. But, they start to just go ahead and offer me like the intro to how to use a compass. And I'm like, actually, I'm okay. I don't need this.
Nice. I think you should take their free weekend orienteering course just so you know how to use that compass. I think that's what you need to
Yeah,
do.
well, they offer classes, so that's one thing. If
So,
you
yeah.
happen to be in a city that has an REI, which doesn't happen to me very often, or it didn't. But anyway, back
Mm-hmm.
to the point at hand. On Amazon, they have the very same compass for like $60, and then they've got the next
Mm-hmm.
model down. It's the Navigator MC2D. That's like $38. Different options, and then there's the trusty standby Silva Ranger that's like $35. So that's just one of those things. Like if you try and order from forestry suppliers, you're gonna expect your shipment maybe in 2 months. um they're just
Mm-hmm.
so bad about shipping. So that's the kind of thing that I would say, like, and Dick's Sporting Goods and sporting goods stores like that, Cabela's and stuff like that, they
Yeah.
just have useless like toys for compasses. So just go to Amazon, get a Silva Ranger or a Sunto MC series compass, and that's going to be what you
Mm-hmm.
need. It'll help you find declination for slope and stuff like that. So
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I was just in REI the other day too, and sometimes when I go there for one specific thing, I'm still there for like 45 minutes because I'm just like trolling the every single aisle to make sure there's something I don't
yeah.
want, right? And I made it through the I was actually looking in the GPS area because I was looking for a new battery for my GPS, and and it's near all the compasses. And I actually did just notice, this was probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I did notice that their compass selection is ridiculously
Yeah.
small. And you're right. They had like the crappy little ones and then a big fancy one and then like nothing in between. And I've used the Brunton Eclipse compass for, I don't know, probably the whole time I've been an archaeologist. I mean, I've had like 3 of them, but I've always gone back to that compass. I think it's because when I open it, it kind of looks like a Star Trek communicator. Somebody told me that early on, and I was like, "Oh, that's it. I'm never going back."
Yeah.
So anyway, but it's good, and I like it. But they don't sell it anymore. They don't sell it at REI. You're right. They sell the Suunto one, and then some cheap map compasses, and that's pretty much it. So I think Amazon is probably the place to go on that. Now, we're not going to talk about Amazon the whole time, but a lot of the stuff that we will link to in our show notes for this episode will probably have Amazon links just because it's so much easier that
Yeah.
way. Now, when I link to stuff on Amazon, I link to the actual manufacturer, because when you look at Amazon, we talked about, the polarizing effect Amazon can have at the beginning of this, and people have that problem because of some of their employee practices. It's like weird sweatshops in their in their warehouses where people are basically judged on their progress by the second. And people have issues with that, but there's also actual problems with Amazon. Like I heard on, what was it, This American Life or Planet Money or something like that on NPR not too long ago, an episode about this guy who invented this thing and decided to make a company and sell it, and then found out that they were being bought on Amazon, and these guys had a full return policy, and people were buying the same product on Amazon. Resellers were buying a bunch of them and then selling them for different prices, and then coming back to the original manufacturer for a refund of this ridiculous price they paid for this thing, sometimes twice as much. And he just ended up taking all his stuff off of Amazon because he's like, I just can't handle it. It's just not worth it anymore. It's like he forbid his stuff to be sold on Amazon, and then they only deal directly with customers now. And so when I buy stuff on Amazon, I do try to find, because you can buy from just about anybody. Usually the default will be that you see the seller and it's actually the manufacturer of the thing. Like I bought some stuff from DJI not too long ago for my drone, and it's actually being sold by DJI on Amazon, and like the Zero Lemon stuff being sold by them on Amazon. So they're the fulfillment house for that. Amazon might have a stock, but everything's going through the original manufacturer. So I'd probably look for that if you're concerned with that, because you can get cheaper or sometimes more expensive stuff from like third-party sellers that are just trying to make a buck on Amazon.
Yeah.
So,
they also have, I mean, aside from that, there's also major concerns for their carbon footprint and their ecological and economic impacts and stuff like that. So I understand the whole like on-demand shipping thing is problematic, but like you said, sometimes we don't really have much of an option given the circumstances that archaeologists are generally placed in.
Yeah.
So here we are talking about Amazon because a lot of times it's the most logical sense, even though it's a bitter pill to swallow. But one of the main strengths, and I think I get the vibe that you're chomping at the bit to talk about this one, Webby, is the books, the ebooks and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's well, first off, you get a certain number of ebooks from Amazon. I think it's probably like one a month or something like that. So, and you don't need a Kindle. I don't even know if Kindles exist anymore. They have like Kindle versions, but a lot of people just use their tablet or their smartphone. And I'm not sure if you can read them online, but I'll tell you the little loophole with that too in a minute. But you can download the Kindle app for Amazon onto a smartphone or a tablet, any smartphone or tablet, and then read books there. But Amazon is a big company, and like Apple, they like their money. And so, and I say Apple because there's a reason here. So if you have the app, you can't actually buy books, movies, or anything on the Amazon app and read it on that device. You have to go to the Amazon website and buy it. And the reason for that is if you buy it through the app, somehow using the Amazon app to buy other stuff is okay because that's like a sales relationship. But if you buy a book or something that downloads onto your device, like a movie or a book or something like that, Apple calls it an in-app purchase and will take 30% of the price. And Amazon's like, oh, hell no, you're not going to do that.
Yeah.
So you can add it to your wish list on the app. You can add it to like your cart or something on the app, but you have to go to their website to buy it because they're like, we're not giving Apple 30%. But once you do buy it, Now it's part of your account. You go back to your device and you can download it and read it or watch it there. So that's a little confusing to people sometimes. They're like, why the hell isn't any of this available for purchase? Because they just don't want to give Apple 30%.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so that's good to know. But anyway, maybe we can. Like I was saying, books, all kinds of stuff. I mean, this stuff is so great. And not only that, before we leave Amazon though, they do have things like food and all kinds of other supplies that you can get if you're just. I've thought about before. You could be sitting at a truck stop gassing up on your way to a project, and just be like, oh crap, I forgot to get Cliff Bars or something like that. You can just order a case of them right now and they'll be waiting for you at the hotel, in a day or two. So, whatever you need, it's really all kinds of stuff on there from the original manufacturers. So, all right. Well, I want to talk about something real quick because this will only take a few minutes and we've only got a couple minutes before the first break. I've seen these before, like these crazy Facebook ads. And then we just happened to be in the mall here the other day for the first time since probably last Christmas. And they had a display for a thing called a Chill Out Buddy. And you got to check these out because they are kind of crazy. We ended up buying, my brother and his wife, they do a lot of camping. And, they're out doing stuff all the time. And we ended up buying two of these. I think it was $50 for one or like $80 for two. And honestly, they look like huge hot dog buns. But they're these, that's what they look like. But they're these inflatable deals that you basically have two chambers and you open up one chamber and you just bring it up high. You're standing and you bring it up high and you run it right down in front of you. I've noticed that you got to do it a few times and then close the chamber each time. And it just sucks up a whole bunch of air. And you do that with both chambers and then you roll this thing tightly and then secure it. And you've just inflated this like bed chair thing that you can use. It's got like really strong like that ripstop nylon material, so it's not gonna break easy. Plus, the inside is lined with a really thick plastic, so it holds the air really well and it doesn't leak out. But it's also got like a 400-pound weight capacity, so if you're a hipster like Chris, you can probably sit on it with your girlfriend. If you're not and you're like me, then you can use it by yourself and it's fine. But it's really great. I mean, they show people using it on like a beach or at a park or something like that. My wife and I wanted to try it out before we sent it to my brother, so we opened his up and set it in front of our fireplace here. That was kind of nice. But I think they're really cool. And the other really great thing is it wraps up really small. It wraps up smaller than a sleeping bag, and you can just throw that in the trunk of your car. And then if you get one of those hotel rooms that happens to have the crazy space in it, you can just set that up and have a nice, really comfortable place to sit that's not covered in things that we don't want to talk about because it's a hotel room. So that comfy chair looks nice and comfortable, but somebody sat on that naked with their naked ass after work and did things.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Chill Out Buddy website right now, and they've got this little like flash video playing on the header of their website, and it's got, like you said, it looks like a giant dry sack. Like it's got that kind of roll top closure, and it's got these people in like yoga pants and stuff hiking through the woods, and then there's like this like chilled out bro playing around in the water. Apparently it floats too. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, it's pretty sweet. I didn't, that's a good point. You could take that on a hike and just throw it in your pack, even like a small pack, and then take it up. You get up to a waterfall or a lake or whatever you're hiking
Ramp
to,
it,
and just roll this thing out. That's right. All right. Well, on that note, let's take our first break, and we'll come out and talk about some more stuff that you can buy the lonely traveling archaeologist in your life.
At digitaltraining.site, we believe that spending money on learning is great if it helps you solve a problem. If you're a cultural resource management professional, you want to make your workflow faster and more efficient to beat your competitors. If you're a student or young professional, you'll want to learn marketable skills to get that job. If you're a faculty, you want to stay up to date with teaching topics, but you feel overwhelmed by all the technologies and tools out there. Digitaltraining.site is for you. You'll get relevant topics by top-level instructors and downloadable materials at an affordable cost. And if you're an enrolled student, apply for a scholarship and attend for free. Start learning now at digitaltraining.site.
All right, and we're back. And I think on the note of the Chill Out Buddy and outdoor fun things, that's a good way to move into outdoor fun and practical things for the traveling archaeologist. So we had briefly mentioned REI earlier. So definitely like gift cards are always a good idea as a gift for archaeologists, but things like hammocks are usually popular. I've worked with a bunch of archaeologists who end up pitching hammocks up on anything they possibly can. The Eagle's Nest Outfitters
Ooh.
uh, hammock is like awesome. You can mount it on anything. Um, but then also there's like camping equipment, especially like cook sets are super useful. I've had a cook set. It's from Snow Peak, I think is the manufacturer. It's titanium, so it's super lightweight, incredibly strong, transfers heat pretty well. And I use it with the MSR
Mm-hmm.
Whisperlight International backpacker stove. It's dirt cheap. I think it's like $70. Compare that to any other backpacker stove that's a little bit more elaborate and more precise. They're going to be a lot more expensive, but the MSR Whisperlight is just this like indestructible, super reliable backpacker stove. And the Whisperlight International version, you can burn almost any type of fuel in it. They recommend using white gas, which you can buy at any camping store. But you can also burn kerosene, diesel, gasoline. So, if you're traveling internationally, I mean, kerosene is pretty dirt cheap for a fuel source. It's not super efficient, but, like you can fill up a fuel bottle for like 40 cents generally in a foreign country. I've done that a handful of times, and it's just really nice to be able to cook your own food. It expands your options while you're on the road. Also stretches your budget way further than eating out.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. Because I've seen the MSR Whisperlight stuff at REI before, and I never really I never really thought about it because I actually have a jet boil. So, but the one thing I've been looking at going to kind of replace the jet boil. But I will say, first off, the jet boil is really cool. It doesn't have nearly at least the one I have. It's probably an older one. It's probably, I don't know, 5, 6 years old at this point, but probably doesn't have the fuel options that some of the newer ones do. But you have to get like the regular fuel that screws into the base of the thing.
Yeah.
But it is compact. It is nice. You can get pans and cook sets to put on top of the thing. But I just have the basic big jet boil. I don't know what you call it, container, whatever it is, that everything fits into.
Yeah.
But I also have, of course, the French press attachment for it,
Ooh.
so you can actually make French press coffee like right in the jet boil, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But one of the things I wanted to bring up that was also not on our list, because I did just see this at REI as well, and I remember the Kickstarter for this when these guys first started, but the BioLite stoves.
Yeah.
I remember it was probably 3 or 4 years ago they first came out, and their whole thing is you can literally put anything in this little heat chamber, and you spark it off. I don't know how the fire starts. Maybe they've got a little thing in there that starts it, but you can put like little chips of wood and moss, and they show all these different things that you can put in there. Their big deal early on was you heat up you can heat up water like a jet boil basically, but it's also using that heat to generate electricity. So it's got USB ports on the side, so you can heat up your water and charge up your cell phone or your GPS or whatever charges through USB at the same time. Well, now they've got all kinds of shit. They've got, actual cook stoves. They've got these bigger things, and they all do the same thing. They all generate electricity, and they all are really super efficient with multiple fuel sources, including, like I said, not just fuel, but you can actually put wood and all kinds of other things that you just scavenge from your campsite right inside of it. So they're pretty sweet. They're not cheap. I mean, these things are pretty high quality. They're going to last you a long time. They're going to be very versatile. You could probably use it in a hotel room. You could use it camping. You could use it all over the place. And now they've got solar panels and lights and all kinds of different things. They're really branching out. So it looks like they might even have heated socks. Oh my!
Wow.
So
Those are the
yeah.
BioLite products, and there's another similar company that I don't know if they have like the kind where you can power by burning all sorts of random fuel sources, but there's the Goal Zero company.
Oh,
I
yeah.
saw REI carries a huge assortment of their products. I've seen them in other stores like Polar,
Mm-hmm.
but those are generally solar powered or kinetic powered, so they're like crank or shake kind of things. And I mean, they've got so many products I can't even begin to describe them, but they're good for, powering things and lighting things and stuff like that.
Hmm.
I'm curious to see the solar power, the solar panels have been on my wish list for a long time, and I just like I don't want to spring for $170 solar panel that might not be very efficient. So I'll have to do some more
Yeah.
homework on the reviews and see how good they actually are.
Well, and it really depends too on your vehicle, honestly. Well, your vehicle and how much money you want to spend. But if this is a gift, you can ask people for anything that you want. But what I was going to say is one of the things that's always been on my list, and I simply just don't have one yet. But I've seen reviews. I've talked to people that own them. Is the Goal Zero Yeti, and they used to just have like the Yeti 2000 or whatever the hell it was called, a really huge thing. I'm looking on their website now. The Yeti 1250 is the big one, but it comes all the way down to the Yeti 150 solar generator for $180. Now, what I meant by vehicle is if you've got like a truck or something like that, or you've got room in a car, maybe you've got like a hatchback with the seats down or something, you've got tons of room in there, because these things are generator sized. I mean, the 150 is a little smaller than a regular generator, but the thing is the multiple power sources. So if you do go get solar panels, then you can charge it with that while you're at a campsite or doing whatever. But you can also plug it into the cigarette lighter in your car. You can plug it into the wall in the hotel room or wherever you are before you're leaving. You can wire it into your car, like into the battery system.
Whoa.
So it just charges. Yeah. And the nice thing about this is you get generator style power with no noise. The Goal Zero 1250, I remember when those first came out, they said their biggest thing was when that hurricane hit New Jersey. Was that Sandy or something like that?
Yeah.
They were giving these out to people because they were out of power for weeks. And the Goal Zero Yeti 1250 with a full charge was powering a refrigerator for 3 days. So, I mean, they're stacked with connections. They've got regular connections, so you can plug in a laptop or something, USB ports. They've got all kinds of different connections on there, and they're just amazing. And the Yeti 150, the smaller one, is $180 right now. It's normally $230, and they're just ridiculous. I love them. I really want one. I was thinking for a camping project, to charge all the tablets and everything, I want to get one of the bigger ones. And then when we're driving around the project area, the thing is charging. And then at night, we just plug everything into it. And then the next day, when you're driving around, it's still charging again. And if you start with a full charge on like a 10-day rotation, I think that little charging throughout the day, when you start the vehicle, will probably just, keep it topped off. So
Yeah.
it's a really cool thing. But they're not small. Like I said, the 1250, the big one, weighs 103 pounds because it's all batteries. I mean, it's all batteries. That's what it is. And the small one weighs 12 pounds. So, but it's they're pretty amazing. So
That's awesome. Well, on the note of like external power type things, on a previous episode of Archaeotech, we talked about Bluetooth speakers, and that's kind of a crucial thing for archaeologists because, we like to listen to music and podcasts from the Archaeology Podcast Network, of course. But yeah, so go check out our previous episode. We'll have that linked in the show notes on archaeologypodcastnetwork.com/Archaeotech, right?
yeah, we'll have the episode number in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can, since I've got it sitting right here in front of me, I can talk about real quick the Jawbone Jambox speaker. I've had this. It's sitting right here in front of me, and it's not waterproof or anything, so there's that. But it's pretty rugged. I've dropped it lots of times. It has really good sound on it. When you Bluetooth pair it to your phone, like most Bluetooth speakers, you can actually use it as a speakerphone. You can talk through it. And it wasn't that much money. It was less than $100, and it's a really good speaker. The Jambox line is actually pretty decent for sound quality. I would, of course, recommend getting one that's waterproof, dustproof, because the whole point of having things for the traveling archaeologist is, it sounds good in the hotel room, it sounds good in your apartment, and it sounds good out at the site. You can bring it wherever you want. Having things that are multi-purpose is obviously better than not. And I think on one of the Archaeotech episodes, I don't know if we'll be able to find it, we talk about the IP standard, where you see like IP67, or something like that.
I think it's the
maybe
same
we'll try
episode.
to link to that. It might be.
Yeah, because I was talking about the Outdoor Technologies Turtle Shell 2.0. That was the speaker that I reviewed on that episode, and I guess, like the long-term review of the product, I've had it for I don't know, at least 6 months now, and
Mm-hmm.
I still love it. Sounds great. It's tiny and lightweight, and you can take it just about anywhere. Sounds pretty good. And like you had mentioned,
Nice.
Webby, it can work as a speakerphone, so you can talk into it as well. It can take commands, and all that. And it's got like this funky little hook thing on the back of it that like it'll still
Mm-hmm.
sit flat on any surface, but you can also stick like a carabiner through it and hang it on something.
Nice.
So I like that too.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, well, let's shift just a little bit then and talk about maybe some stuff that you need, but maybe don't want to buy for yourself, and you can tell other people they can buy these things just so you can use them. Let me get back to my list here. So we've got a couple things from Codify, which we've talked about in Coda.
Yeah.
Let me talk about training real fast. You can get training from Coda. You can go over there and buy a training session for somebody. They're $75. They periodically put out like gift cards, and they're doing scholarships for each training that are free scholarships. So you can maybe sign somebody up for that, and see if they can get it. A lot of that stuff comes out on the Center for Digital Archaeology Facebook page. So they're check that out frequently, like them, and so you can see these deals when they come out. Also their Twitter handle. And also from Codify, we have photo boards, and I'm pretty excited and a little bit nervous. We've got about, I think we've got a little over 25 orders right now as we're speaking on December 14th, and we're supposed to get a shipment of these in on December 16th. They're supposed to come right here to the Reno headquarters of Codify, and I'll be shipping them out. And our hope is, and I think we can definitely do this, is that these are going to make it to most people before Christmas. So if you order now, then you can possibly get it to somebody or to yourself for that matter. Get yourself a little Christmas present. You can get one of our 4 different types of photo boards, or we have photo board packages. And we've got other stuff coming out at some time. If you check out codify.com/APN, that's where we store any current coupon codes for anything like this. And there is currently one for APN listeners up on that website right now. And I'm going to go over there and refresh that at some point. So we'll be changing those periodically. So check that website often for current coupon codes just for APN listeners.
Yeah.
So that's really good. All right. I think maybe in the last 5 minutes of this segment, let's talk about some I guess some real stuff that people may not actually think about. I have on the list here health insurance. I don't know if you can buy that for somebody, but they all need it.
Yeah.
So you buy that with your vote, right? No. But we've got memberships here. We've got AAA membership, and I just put conference membership or registration down. It's really handy, even if you give somebody like give them a Visa gift card or something like that says, hey, go use this to send yourself to the SAAs or to the SHAs coming up in Dallas, where you can meet the team from Codify and the APN and something like that. I mean, Chris, what are some of the conferences? Like would you like a conference registration as a gift? Would you take that, or would you think,
Oh,
this
absolutely.
doesn't have batteries, I can't buy it?
Yeah, I'm kind of conflicted on that. I do want the gadget, but yeah, absolutely. Especially, it's mid-December right now, and I'm looking at all of my membership dues are becoming, they're up for renewal by the end of the month. So
Yeah.
yeah, and like the local like professional societies, I harp on that a lot over on the Go Dig a Hole podcast, but those are typically around $15 a year for a membership, and so that's a great stocking stuffer right there. Is
Mm-hmm.
like if you're in Oregon, for example, sign someone up for the Oregon Archaeological Society, sign someone up for whatever their local professional society is, and just make sure, they haven't already signed themselves up, but, that might spoil
Mm-hmm.
the gift. But that's just an easy win for an archaeologist, who maybe, doesn't know or, needs a little boost to be pushed in that direction. Just go ahead and pick that thing up.
Yeah, exactly. I actually had a former girlfriend of mine back when I was in college, we were looking at moving to Arizona for one reason or another. I can't remember why, but I never ended up going there. She did, and we kind of split before then. But anyway, to kind of as just kind of a gift, and I appreciated this, but then feel kind of bad for it too. She got me a membership in their local cycling club because it cost money. You get a jersey with it. I still have the jersey actually.
Sweet.
And I thought that was really cool. Yeah, it was just like, here's a year-long membership in this thing that you like to do, and I think that's a really can be a really touching thing. Even if it is a membership in the SAAs or the SHAs or the or even a local organization, I think that does go a long way, because often I hear from people that because archaeologists like to drive, because for one thing it's cheaper typically, so we'll drive all over the place, but then paying that $300, and that's really what it costs to go to some of these conferences, aside from lodging and all that. It's usually $300 out the door, because you've got to pay for your yearly membership plus the conference registration,
right,
which I know for the SAAs is like $159 a piece for those, and I think the SHAs is really close. I just paid for them. I can't remember what it was, but it's really close to that as well. And that adds up. I've got $600 so far in just 2 organizations to go to their conference and to pay for the yearly membership. $600 for 1 year. So that definitely adds up.
Yeah.
So, all right, we've got a couple minutes left. I want to make a warning based on one of the kind of funny things we have on our list here. We have the Kombucha of the Month Club membership. But in all reality,
I'll be brewing kombucha at home, and you can sign up. I get to pick the flavor. I guarantee it's not going to be gross. It's usually going to be spicy and have cayenne and ginger in it. No, I'm just kidding. But
nice.
yeah, kombucha is really good. So drink it. It's healthy for you.
It is. The only warning I'm going to make is not about kombucha, but monthly club memberships. Those are kind of a thing these days.
Yeah.
They've got these, these crates that you can get, they call it, where you can get clothes and all these gadgets, and then they've got coffee of the month and wine of the month and beer of the month and all this stuff. But I would definitely make sure you know who you're buying this for, because if they're not ever home, you're going to ruin that gift for them.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have to constantly change the address that it gets sent to, or it's going to their parents' house or a friend's house or something like that. And then, if it's something that's perishable, it's not going to last. So just caution yourself if you're getting if you're going to buy your local CRM archaeologist a cheese of the month club, it's probably not going to work out too well for them. So
that cheese is going to get funky.
It is. Make sure it's good, sharp cheese that can stand a few more years of fermentation, or whatever you call it. So, all right, well, let's take our final break and come back and wrap up this episode with some gifts for your soul, if not a soul itself. Professional Certifications for Scientists, or PCS, aims to provide practical educational videos, field guides, knowledge tests, professional certifications, and employment connections to professional scientists everywhere. Check out the resources page for useful links, a directory of CRM archaeology firms in the U.S., and a link list to state site forms. Find PCS resources at www.pcscourses.com/resources. PCS, a place for good scientists to become great science professionals. All right, we're back, and I think we're going to go into some little off gifts here, some stuff you might not be thinking about, which is kind of why we're here for you. But I've got down here, and I think this is a good gift. I don't know where you buy this sort of thing, but it's a partner to warm your cold, dead soul. I think that's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. But that does bring to mind sometimes, if you're on the road and you are an archaeologist and you're traveling around, send them an e-gift card. Again, don't send them a card, because they probably won't get it until February when they're back home again. But send them something. Let them know you're thinking about them. It gets really lonely on the road, and you might see, but their Instagram account is on fire, so look at this. They must be having a great time. But I think it's often true that people with these strong social media accounts are actually not that social in real life, and they could really just use an actual person to say, hey, you're awesome, here's this thing, go enjoy it. So we can't actually give you a soul, but we can maybe add a little joy to your life. So I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you happen to be, I know Webby is a little shy about this, but if you happen to be buying like Secret Santa gifts for him, he really wants Top
Oh
Gun
my
on
god, that
VHS.
would be amazing. You'll probably have to get me a VCR too, but and while
Yeah.
you're sending gifts to the APN, care of Archaeotech, uh, Chris wants Indiana Jones on Laserdisc. I don't know if it's going to be easy to find. You might have to excavate that.
No, I also don't have a Laserdisc player, but I really like how it's kind of an artifact in itself, and it's kind of like a meta archaeology gift.
Might have to do some eBay searching for some stuff like that. Which brings up another thing, eBay. So that's also actually kind of a good place to get stuff. You can get brand new things there, but you can also get archaeologists love used things, or maybe we just buy that stuff because we're cheap and poor. But kind of as a group. But eBay's good, and we mentioned some gift cards early on, but you can get Amazon gift cards, you can get eBay gift cards to use right there. You can get like PayPal gift cards. I don't know if they're called gift cards, but you can add like money to somebody's PayPal account. I don't know what that is. They're like, maybe they are gift cards. I don't know, but I've seen it before advertised. So, if you want to let them just get whatever they want to get, then you can get them something like that. But yeah, Chris, do you want to talk about the Audible subscription?
Yeah, so I guess that kind of like lumps back into Amazon because Audible is a partner with Amazon. But um, Audible, if you're not familiar with it, it's a book on tape company that you can buy a subscription to it, and it lets you download a certain amount of books per month. I forget what the number exactly is, but other than that, you can buy books on Audible like priced
Mm-hmm.
individually. Um, but if you get a subscription, it's deeply, deeply discounted. And these Audible books often tie in with the Amazon Kindle platform. So you can be listening to a book on tape while you're driving across the country or driving around your project area. And if you find something that you want to highlight, you can tap a little icon in the player. And what it'll do is it'll go back into your Kindle. And when if you're back in your hotel room or whatever, and you're reading on your tablet, you can go back and look at it and it's
Hmm.
highlighted for you. And so that was a lifesaver for me when I was in grad school because I was fortunate that many of the books that I was reading were on Audible and on Kindle. And so I could just be doing anything else, like riding the bus to school and stuff like that, and be
Mm-hmm.
taking notes and highlighting. And the great thing about, the Kindle platform is it's searchable. So, then I could go back and write my, report papers or my little book review assignments and stuff like that, and just go back and search right back to the note that I had taken and quote it and stuff like that. So it was super useful. But, like we also love to read fiction and nonfiction stuff just for the
Mm-hmm.
fun of it, you know, as a general group. So, they have an incredible selection of books on Audible and on Kindle. So a subscription would go a long way to improving someone's
Yeah,
life.
and correct me if I'm wrong, because I had an Audible subscription years ago, but I ended up dropping it because I got way too into podcasts and my credits were stacking up, and I just wasn't reading the books.
Yeah.
But so I haven't had it in a while. If do you have one now?
No, I don't have a
Okay.
subscription right now just because I listen to book. I'm kind of in the same boat. Like I listen to podcasts more than I listen
Mm-hmm.
to books on tape. So for me, it's it's not worth paying the subscription for those discounts. I'll just buy like a book priced individually,
Yeah.
and just take like the full
Well, that's
price.
cool because, and that kind of makes our point. It's not worth it financially to do both. To do listen to a bunch of podcasts and then get Audible at the same time and do these things. But hell, if somebody got me an Audible subscription, then I'd probably make an effort to fit that into my listening schedule and see if I could. And I really like the Kindle book integration. That's pretty sweet. I think I'd heard some stuff about that, but wasn't
Yeah.
really aware of it. But for those of you that don't know, the way Audible works typically, from what I know from the past, is you pay by the month, but it's for a certain number of credits, and then each book costs a certain number of credits, and those credits roll over, from what I remember. So if you wanted a book that was 10 credits or whatever, and you only had 5, if you waited until next month, you'd have 10 credits. Whatever your monthly thing is. So from what I could tell, though, most of the books that I wanted to read were really low credits, and I never had a problem just picking up another book. Just grabbing it and being able to do it. So that was really cool. But Yeah, that's a really good thing, and all these offline sort of digital things are great for traveling archaeologists, because if you can download something to your smartphone or tablet or even your computer and listen to it or do something there, then you can do it without internet. You never want to rely on hotel internet for stuff, so it'd be nice to have those sorts of things. And I remember the days not too long ago when my wife and I were traveling around doing, we spent 2007, I think it is, traveling from South Carolina, working across the country, making our way to the Great Basin. We were just trying to get west, so we were project to project, and we just lived on the road for a year. And in our Forerunner, we had all of our camping stuff, all of our hotel stuff, and then like a huge tub of books that, started about half full when we left South Carolina, just the stuff that both of us wanted to read. And then, of course, you hit bookstores and you hit all the stuff, and we had Barnes and Noble accounts and all that stuff, so we got discounts there. And you're always walking in and buying 2, 3, 4 books. And if you end up at Powell's Books in Portland, you end up with 70 books for $1. And
Oh, geez, that place is dangerous.
Ridiculous. I never walk out of there paying less than $100, but I've got like a truckload of books.
Yeah.
Yeah, so things like that, and I just wish that I'd had a tablet back then. Actually, even if you don't like reading on tablets, you really kind of need to get over that for the stuff on the road. Have your library. I've got thousands of books here, right? Thousands, and I love books. I still buy books. I just bought a book the other day. But I kind of will also sometimes, if it's a book I really want to read and I just don't want to have on my shelf for reference, I'll also buy the digital version so I can read it on my tablet, because I don't like wearing my headlamp anymore in bed trying to read a book. It's just heavy. I don't know how many times I've dropped one on my face. That always sucks.
As you're falling asleep, it just falls on your face. Yeah.
And that
it hurts a little less with
just
a
little
tablet.
bit, not much, but a little bit. But yeah, it's just so handy. And with the tablet, I can. I usually use iBooks, but most of the ebook readers do this. When you bookmark or you're done reading, you can pick that up on another device that's connected to the same account, and it picks right back up at the same spot. It's great.
Yeah.
So it's really good to consider something like that, especially for your traveling archaeologists out there. Yeah.
Yeah. Same deal with the Audible subscription. Like if you're listening to a book on Audible that's tied to your Kindle book, and if you're going through like the Amazon store, I think there's a way to look either in the Amazon store or the Audible store. I'm a little rusty on this one, but a lot of times they'll sell them
Yeah.
as a package, like two together, and so you can be listening on Audible, and then if you go to pick up your book on Kindle on your tablet, it'll sync back up to the place where you left off listening to it on tape. So, it's just this seamless thing where you're switching from listening to it to reading it. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I'm doing that right now. I've got a bunch of books on my iPad, on the Kindle app. And I had just gone to Powell's Books in Portland before I left, and I bought like 3 books. One of them is this monster like anthology of Cormac McCarthy novels. And I was like, oh, I really want to take this on the road. And then like when I was packing, I was like, I'm going to be on the road for 2 months and I'm trying to go fast and light. I'm not going to lug this monster around with me. So I've got a bunch of other books that I can work with on my
Besides,
iPad.
if you buy a Subaru, I think they come with Cormac McCarthy anthology, like in the glove box. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I think I'll be listening to The Road and Blood Meridian, or the I forget what the subtitle is. It's like the red sky in the evening west, something like that. Just
That's awesome.
bleak, crushing.
That's great. I just read Blood Meridian like a year and a half ago. I liked it. It was good.
That's my all-time favorite book.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
So let's move on. I want to mention something here because I taught a webinar through Coda on Tuesday of this week, December 13th, whatever that was, and it was called Drones in Archaeology, and somebody was asking me near the end where they had a question about what kind of drone to get. I don't know how to fly drones, blah blah blah, and I kind of just made this up off the top of my head, but it sounded so good that I just want to bring it up here. Practice drones. Okay, so you're thinking you want to get into drones, or maybe you know of an archaeologist that's a little bit on the tech side and they've talked about this kind of stuff. Those crappy little drones that you can get at Brookstone or Target or the freaking gas station these days, And now, when I mention these, I don't mean the helicopters, the one with the two rotors, because those have slightly different flight characteristics than your typical quadcopter or four rotor drone. If you can get one of those little four rotor drones, even like a $30 or $40 one, sure, it's not going to last very long. I'll give you that. But it's a really, if you tell them it's a practice drone, which I think is a really good concept, because if they've never flown anything like that before, that drone has the exact same controls, the up, down, left, spin right, as everything, as my $5,000 DJI Inspire Pro. And I'll tell you what, you don't want to learn on that. You don't want to learn on the Inspire Pro when it's doing 60 miles an hour out here next to trees, okay? That's just not a good idea. This thing will go 2 miles up in the air, do 60 miles an hour. That's not the kind of thing you want to learn on. You want to learn on a $40 drone from a department store that you can run into the walls, that you can fly in your living room and not actually damage anything. I can't, as tempting as it is, I can't fire this thing up in my living room. I'll actually kill somebody. So, I mean, it's heavy and it's super dangerous, and the props are like 13 inches long, and there's 4 of them. So, but like I said, you get one of those cheap little ones, and again, not the helicopters. They're fun. The helicopters are fun, but they don't fly the same way. They don't have the same controls, and they're just not the same. I mean, if you want to get them both, that's great, but get in the other one and say, here, this is the practice for when you hit the big time. And honestly, I think, speaking totally seriously, we had a number of people on that call that are from CRM companies and things like that want to get into drones. And if you start adding drone pilot abilities to your resume, that's going to start being a thing. We always talk about, I can run a Trimble, I can run a total station. But if you know how to fly an RC aircraft, that's the next big thing for tech. That's the next big thing for archaeology. And if you put that on your CV, that you actually have those skills, even if you've never flown the $5,000 model, I'm telling you right here, I'm absolute proof. You can pick that thing up out of the box and fly it like you've been doing it your whole life if you understand how the controls work. So, yeah. What do you think about that? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense, and now it justifies me buying a practice
That's what
drone.
I'm saying.
Because I had wanted to get one just to beat around and maybe tease our new puppy with. But yeah, if I can get more precise flying a practice drone around, then maybe one day, fingers crossed, you'll let me fly that DJI Inspire and maybe load a basket full of tacos on the bottom of it and just
taco delivery.
Yeah, strike package delivered.
That's awesome. I just want to put missiles on mine so I can shoot down the Amazon drones. I haven't seen one yet, but I know they're coming.
I don't know what happened to your shipment. It just...
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess the last couple gift ideas I have on like, to get back to a serious note, and this is a low tech gift idea, is around this time of year, REI has great deals on boots. So check out some boots if you need to stock back up on your field boots. And then also a great companion for boots are Superfeet insoles. Superfeet is the brand. They sell a bunch of different kinds. The green kind and the orange kind are made for being on your feet for a long time. I think the orange kind are rated for like industrial use, and you can be on your feet for 8 to 12 hours is what the little box says. I wore those when we were out on survey in California, and my feet could not have survived, 18 miles a day in the Rocky Desert without some good insoles. And it also expands the life of your boots. So I've got, I've got boots. The ones I have now are only a year old, but prior to that, I had a pair of boots that lasted me 7 years, and I went through, I don't know, probably a pair of insoles at least every year. And, it just expands the life of the boot, and you can trim the insoles to the shape that you need and all that. They're great.
And they kind of form, they might feel actually a little bit strange, like for the first hour that you're wearing them, but they conform to the shape of your feet. So, the back part. I've had the orange ones in every pair of field boots I've had for probably the last 5 or 6 years as well. I mean, it's just, they're amazing. They're totally worth the money. And you're right. That brings up another thing, the fact that they're not just on sale for holidays, but these crazy stores with all their equipment, sure, they're moving to like winter stuff now, but if you look on the clearance racks around now, you can find stuff that they're simply just changing the color on for 2017, and so now it's all on sale. It's the same thing with like mountain bikes and road bikes and stuff. I buy Trek bikes all the time, and usually when I buy something like that, I'll buy it in December, because it's not like cars where the new one comes out in August for the next year. It's they actually come out at the first of the year, and they make a minor tweak to it, and then they change the color for the year, or the color set that they're coming out with, and everything else is on sale because they've got to move it off the shelves. But it's still, perfectly great and brand new. So, that's a good pro tip right there, is to buy all your next field gear stuff now, or put it on your Christmas list, and then you'll have it at a good price, and you'll be ready for the following field season. So
yeah, like REI yesterday had a sale on all of their wool socks, and it didn't matter the brand or the type. It was just across the board on all their socks, and it was like you buy 3 and you get 20% off the whole deal. So I was like, well, yeah, I'll totally get some more.
And that's the only
socks.
thing I wear throughout the year. Winter, summertime, I wear those REI wool socks in my boots. In the summertime, I wear like shorty socks or something. I don't wear those dark wool socks with my tennis shoes. I'm not that old yet, but tennis shoes and shorts, and like ankle high or thigh high or knee high wool socks. Thigh high, Jesus.
Yeah, with like Birkenstocks.
Exactly. All right, so I think that's it for this episode. The only thing we have left to mention, we might start a Kickstarter for this, but if you want to go over to APN support page and donate to us so we can get this put together, but we're gonna do. We want to have, maybe by this time next year, Webby and Boone's self-help guide in a 23 cassette box set. I think that's a fantastic idea. And I think you could all use it. And maybe we'll even throw in an actual cassette player with it. So,
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Chris. Stay warm up there. And check out the show notes for links to a lot of the stuff that we talked about. And again, they'll probably be Amazon links, so be okay with that. But some of these are going straight to the manufacturer's website. So check all those things out. Check out all past episodes. And if you're doing any holiday travel this year, check out other episodes from the Archaeology Podcast Network to keep you sane, and so you can have a real reason to have your headphones on the plane rather than just being antisocial. You can actually be listening to something. So anything else, Chris, that you want to throw in at the last 5 seconds?
Nah, I think we've covered everything.
Sounds good.
As usual, rate us on iTunes. 5 stars or nothing.
5 stars or nothing. Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everybody, and have a happy whatever holiday you support this year, or nothing. If you're like me and have a cold, dead soul and just go through it drinking hot chocolate and hot buttered rum. So we'll see you on the other side.
See ya.
That's it for another episode of the Archaeotech Podcast. Links to some of the items mentioned on the show are in the show notes for this podcast, which can be found at www.archaeologypodcastnetwork.com/archaeotech. If you like the show and want to comment, please do. You can leave comments about this or any other episode on the website or on the iTunes page for this episode. You can also email us at chris@archaeologypodcastnetwork.com or use the contact form on the podcast webpage. If you'd like us to answer a question on a future episode, email us. Use the contact form on the website or tweet your questions with the hashtag Archaeotech or tag @ArchPodNet in your tweet. Please share the link to this show wherever you saw it. If you'd like to subscribe to this podcast, you can do so on iTunes or on Stitcher Radio. You can also type the name of the podcast into your favorite podcasting app and subscribe that way. Don't forget to go over to iTunes and leave a review of the show. It helps us get noticed so more people can find our podcast and benefit from the content. Also, send us show suggestions and interview suggestions. We want this to be a resource for field technicians everywhere, and we want to know what you want to know about. This show is produced by Chris Webster and Tristan Boyle, and edited by Chris Sims.
This has been a presentation of the Archaeology Podcast Network. Visit us on the web for show notes and other podcasts at www.archaeologypodcastnetwork.com. Contact us at chris@archaeologypodcastnetwork.com.
Thanks again for listening to this episode and for supporting the Archaeology Podcast Network. If you want these shows to keep going, consider becoming a member for just $7.99 a month. That's cheaper than a venti quad eggnog latte. Go to archpodnet.com/members for more info.